Hi everyone, it's Dan. So on today's episode with the Wild Space, we're going to be doing a wild advice. So lots of you like to feed the birds in your garden, but what we're going to do today is explore some of the treats you can be putting out for birds. As it's nesting season, birds are looking to fetch a lot more food to their partners. So at the moment we've got the males looking for food for the females, who are often either building nests or incubating. As the season progresses, they'll spend less time actually foraging, and it'll be up to the males to get the food. So with that being said, they need to have a lot of fat in reserve, so it's good to put out things for the birds that they can munch on. So on our feeding station, on one of the cameras, which you've probably seen on social media, this is the signpost feeding station. So we've actually got fat balls out at the moment. So fat balls are really good, giving them seeds, but also with suet, what they're based with, it gives them a chance to eat a lot of fat as well. So one of the most common things you'll find is suet pellets and suet ones. So most of the time they're the berry ones like these, and that is because they're easier to make and easier to find. So suet pellets are really good for birds. So you can put them either in tube feeders, you can put them in bowl form, you can put them in log form, you can just put them out anywhere. So I actually fill these up on a ground feeder, or we've got the Wildlife World Bempton feeder here, which has got some in as well. So keeping on the topic of suet, this is a suet cake or fat cake. So these are basically large squares made out of fat, made out of seeds. You can have different ones of different varieties. This is just a plain one because I like to provide birds in different areas, put the food in different areas, so the birds and the smaller birds have got a chance to actually feed. So this one is a fat cake. It's just plain. You put it into one of those square feeders and then you just hang that up, and that's another great option. Common things most people put out for birds is actually mealworms. So I don't personally agree with live mealworms because birds can actually find worms for themselves. The most common one you buy is dried mealworms. So these are really light, and they're just the casings of mealworms. So it's quite hard to feed these, so I only use these maybe once a week, and they go onto the Bempton feeder. You don't want to put too much of them out because they are like sweets. You don't want to put them out too much because birds will just pick at these and they won't take the seeds. So basically, if you think of it like children, it's like putting a whole table of vegetables out and putting this candy out, and they'll just go for the candy. So only put these out maybe once a week. The other ones you can add to your seed mixes and add to your feeding routines like I have done here. So they will take seeds when they're available, but they will go for the fat as well. Final thing I put out, these are just some leftover ones in the house, but this is just dried fruit. Fresh fruit is okay as well. This is dried fruit. These are dried cranberries. Now they're another good option to put out for birds where they can feed, but if you cut these up, if you look at these are fairly large. So I cut these into 3 or cut them into 4, and they go into the Bempton feeder as well. And this is just so birds can put them into their mouths, especially the blue tits that nest in one of the boxes. It's a chance for them to take them and put them into the female's mouth while she's incubated. So with all this stuff, it is important for you to be feeding your natural feed as well, like your classic mixes or your ground mixes. But obviously, as it's the breeding season, and especially in the winter as well, it is important to add more fat to build up reserves, especially if you live in an area with migrant birds. It's a good opportunity for you guys to have a play with what you feed in. Don't just rely on buying bags. Mix it up, blend it to what birds are getting in your gardens, and then don't forget to share the results with us. So whilst we're here, we've still got the camera, the Wildlife World Wildlife Observation camera up. So that is still recording these feeders. There isn't a live stream yet, but instead, if you're on social media and if you're on YouTube, we will be doing wildlife highlights every month. That's going to be shared across with Wildlife World as well, so you can see what's happening in the Wild Space Garden. You can have a look at what's going on. I'll be presenting a highlight reel each month, and that will be with what's been happening, what boxes are up, what's been on the feeders. And don't forget to share with us with the hashtag Wild Space of what you're finding in your gardens, especially if you're using some of the wild advice tips as well. So that's bye from me from this time, and I hope to see you again on another episode. Goodbye.